Alright y'all, Dad and I are using the paint sprayer again today. We're going to be painting some of this siding on the outside of the house. We are not professionals. This is a do-it-yourself project, so some of the stuff we're doing might not be like the professionals do it. But at the end of the day, if there's paint on the outside of the house and it looks halfway decent, that's all I care about. So let me go ahead and show you what we're going to be doing. Alright, this is what the siding looks like before we paint it. This is our rough cut board and batten siding, so it is from the trees that we cut down off the property. The boards are primed on all sides with Kilz 3 primer. And we've caulked all the joints down at the bottom and at the top and some of the screw holes as well. Alright, here's the paint sprayer that we're using. I got this at Lowe's. I'll put a link down below. This is a sprayer tip that we're using, and this is really the smallest tip that you can get away with using with exterior paint. And when I'm talking about the size, I'm referring to the last 2 digits. The bigger that number is, the bigger the opening of the tip is. Here is the exterior paint that I'm using. And I got this at the Sherwin store. And if you're gonna buy something from them, wait till they have a sale, because every few months they'll have a sale for like 30 to 40% off, and I always wait until it's 40% off, otherwise it's ridiculously expensive. Alright, so now we're going to prime it with water first.
And if you have it set up, okay, you turn this knob till you come to where it says start.
And then this is going to be up.
Up so the water can come through the pump out the primer tube.
And then we're going to press this button.
Can you see what you're doing?
Yeah, I think I pressed it.
Okay, try it and see what you got. Watch down here now.
Now we're going to hit on.
And watch the bubbles.
And watch here, and it's going to bubble, and once it stops bubbling, that means it's primed.
Yeah. Push this down. Puts it into the main tube.
Okay.
And it's ready to pump. So we'll show right here that it's primed. Turn the pressure up as needed for paint. All right, so next to get the paint in, we're going to turn it off. It's important. Let this off, and that lets the pressure off. Get the water out.
And now we're going to
put paint in the bucket next. I'm going to take the water out of here. It is very light machine here.
All right, now we got the paint, and we're gonna prime it with the paint.
Yeah.
So we've got this up. We're gonna turn this to start. We're gonna hit the button till it clicks, and then we're gonna press on. That off. So now there's some water and some paint in there, so we gotta flush out all that watery
about
stuff.
A quart or better. Now we got it on low pressure, so it won't. Yeah,
it's still on low pressure. Otherwise, it'll flash up in your face. So you're gonna keep spraying it until all the watery stuff is gone, and it looks like full paint. And it's still water right now. It has to go all through the hose. This is just a trash bucket.
Probably gonna need to turn the pressure up a little.
Okay, I'm gonna turn the pressure up just a little bit.
Paint's coming. Getting harder to push. See how it curls when it rolls up? That should be good. See how it holes on the side of the bucket? That means you got paint, real paint, no water.
All right, so now we're gonna.
So we're ready to paint. We may add some more paint to the bucket, but we're ready to.
All right, y'all, I am aware that there is a tail, but we couldn't seem to get rid of it. We turned the pressure up, it didn't go away. I was not willing to thin the paint, and I didn't have a different tip to try. So we just kept on going. The surface of this wood siding is very textured, so I wasn't worried about any kind of weird paint texture pattern. If we were painting a smooth surface like drywall, I would have been more concerned about it. In the end, it worked out fine. Sometimes you just gotta get it done. Alright, so we're ready to clean, so we're going to turn the pressure all the way down. And you're going to flip this up to let the pressure off. Now we're going to lift the sprayer out of the paint and we're going to put it in a bucket of clean water. Alright, so now that it's in clean water, we are going to try to clean off these hoses the best we can. Wipe them off, brush them off, hose them off, whatever. Alright, so now we're going to run some water through these hoses to get them cleaned out, but we have to prime it first. So we got this lever up, we have it on start, we're going to press that button on the side. Alright, and now we're going to go ahead and turn it on.
Turn it.
Alright, so it's reprimed. Of course, you just watch to see when it stops bubbling, and that's when you know it's primed, and you just flip your lever down. So now we're ready to flush out the hose. Okay, so you still got a good bit of paint in this line, so we're going to try to save what we can. So I'm just going to spray into the bucket. As soon as I notice it start to get a little bit thinner, I'm going to start spraying into an empty bucket. We're going to turn the pressure up just a little bit. Alright, so it just started to get just a little bit thinner, so I'm done with that. Now I just have an empty bucket, and I'm just going to let it run for a minute or two to really get it flushed out good. Alright, so I let it run for about 2 minutes. Now we're just going to put this in a clean bucket of water, and we're going to do that all again. Alright, this is our second bucket of clean water. We're going to flush the lines out again. So we got to reprime, so turn this up, put it on start, press the button on the side and turn it on. Alright, flip it down. And now we're just going to let it run for about another minute or two. Alright, so we flushed the lines out twice. So we're going to turn it off and let that switch up. Now the pressure's off. So now we're going to take the handle and the sprayer off and clean that. So we're going to use a wrench and loosen these bolts right here.
There you go. I think you got it under control.
Alright, so now we'll go ahead and take this tip off. You might be able to get it off with your hand. Yeah. And the first thing we're going to do is clean this really well. Alright, I've got some soapy water and some brushes, and I'm just going to brush this off the best I can. Alright, so you can take the sprayer tip out too. That'll help you get it a little bit cleaner. Alright, so I got it pretty clean, and I'm going to go ahead and put the tip back in, and now that is ready for next time. Alright, so there's a filter inside here, and so I'm going to go ahead and take that out and clean it out. First thing you got to do is move this handguard, and it just springs out of place. This way.
Yeah.
Okay. See, it's got paint and clumps all over it, so we're gonna go ahead and rinse this off. At some point this is gonna get too clogged to clean, and you're just gonna have to replace it, but this one still looks pretty good, so I'm just gonna rinse it out well and put it back in there. All right, so that looks pretty good. And now I'm just gonna hose out the housing. And I'll hose this nozzle off just a little bit. All right, now I'm gonna put it all back together.
That's yeah.
Okay. Now put the trigger guard back on. And I'm gonna go ahead and attach it back to the hose. All right, it's all put back together. All right, the very last thing we're gonna do is we're gonna drain the water out of this hose.
Can you squeeze them together? There you go.
When you're doing this, you wanna make sure that you're holding this one still. You don't want it to move.
Yeah, you don't want to twist the housing. Yeah. All right.
He's uphill holding the trigger and the water is dripping out of the line. All right, now I'm just gonna put everything back together. And I'm gonna hold this one even though I'm tightening it because you don't want to put pressure on that housing. All right, that's good and snug. It is clean and ready to be put up for storage. All right, here it is after the second coat. As many of y'all know, this house is a work in progress, so please ignore all the unfinished stuff. We still have to go back and put some kind of finish coat on all this foundation stuff. We're gonna bury the gutter pipe. We're gonna do landscaping, so we still have a lot more work to do, so please ignore all that. So let's take a closer look. I think it looks pretty good. Nothing looks crazy. We got a nice thick coat on it, so I think it's gonna be okay. I still have to go in and cut around these windows because the plastic was covering it, so I still have to paint that. I think this was a pretty successful DIY project. It saved us a lot of money, and I think it looks pretty good, so I'm happy. All right, thanks for watching.